Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod After Dark. I'm Jeff, and this could be the right place. The time could be now. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my cuz-host.
I'm Leslie, and I've got a helmet.
That helmet is great.
It's fantastic. Oh,
It's the one laugh line in the whole movie, that helmet.
yeah.
I'm a fan of the fucking football helmet. All right, this week, Cheesemeisters, we are talking about Easy Rider. The 1969, oh no, what you represent is freedom. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about. But talking about it and being it, that's two separate things. I mean, it's real hard to be free when you're bought and sold in the marketplace. Of course, don't tell anybody they're not free, because they're going to get real busy killing and maiming to prove to you that they are. Masterpiece. Written by Peter Fonda, Dennis Hopper, and Terry Southern. Directed by Dennis Hopper, his directorial debut, I believe. Starring Peter Fonda as Wyatt, Dennis Hopper as Billy, Jack Nicholson as George Hansen, and Luke Askew as the stranger on the highway. There are a bunch of other people in this movie, and we'll talk about it too. But I'm limiting starring in this movie to the guys who rode the bikes, which seems pretty accurate. Yeah. We are watching this in conjunction with season 4, episode 25. The time has come today because it's a bunch of hippies and fascists in that episode. And we are, what's that?
This fits so perfectly, really.
It kind of does, yeah. And our spelling connection is Luke Askew, the stranger on the highway. He was in an episode of TJ Hooker.
Oh, way to go.
Yeah. You know what struck me is that it's happening more and more where like we'll decide on a movie and then I'll realize I didn't look up the spelling connection.
Oh no.
I just like assumed that there was one. And that's what I did here. Like I didn't look it up. I watched the movie yesterday. I looked it up this morning. Who our spelling connection was. I'm like, oh yeah, it's 1969. It's bound to be somebody, you know.
I've been trying to help out with that, especially if I'm suggesting the movie.
Yeah.
But I've told you before, I get about halfway through, and if I haven't found someone, my brain gets waterlogged. Like I can only look at a screen so long.
I feel that. 100% feel that. This movie is 84% on Rotten Tomatoes and 82% on the Popometer. So people like this movie. I don't think it's a stretch to say that this movie's considered an American classic at this point.
I would agree. I just, once again, I'm like, then why are we here?
What do you mean? Why is reality what it is?
Why is reality what it is if this kind of movie is ranked so highly and is also considered an American classic? I'm sorry we keep going there, but I don't understand it.
It's because this movie's right. I mean,
I know.
I mean, that's sort of what it is.
What is everyone else watching?
All right, let's get into this a little bit. So you'd never seen this movie before, correct?
Correct.
Had you heard of this movie? Was it something you knew existed?
Yes, and all because of, I believe it was a Pepsi ad.
Okay, using Born to Be Wild, I'm going to assume?
Yes, but it was this guy, he's sitting on a plane or in a meeting, and he's listening to Born to Be Wild, and he is having a fantasy of him riding along next to Peter Fonda.
Okay.
And my mom ended up ruining the ending for me, sort of, when she saw that ad, and she was like, oh yeah, and then so-and-so. And I'm like, wait, what? But I hadn't seen the movie. And anyway, watching this movie, I thought of that ad and how my mom ruined the ending, sort of, for me. Anyway.
What did she say? Did she say that? Spoilers. We're gonna spoil this movie.
Okay. I hate going out of order, but
no, it's fine.
So she goes, oh yeah, and then he gets shot, and I went,
oh.
And I'm a kid, and I'm thinking, one, what is this from? Two, why would he get shot? And I knew someone in the end was going to get shot, but then when they both get shot, I was like, what?
Yeah.
So it was weird to have something sort of spoiled.
Yeah, I get that. How long ago did this happen? I'm guessing you were like a kid.
I had to have been middle school, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I'm surprised you remember that.
The things that stick with you.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I don't.
You know what I remember? That Easy Rider commercial I saw when I was 12. Yeah, sure. That's the one.
You were a Pepsi house?
Oh, man. Does that explain something to me? It fucking might.
Jeff, it gets worse. We were a diet Pepsi house.
Weird. Okay. This is not the point, but we're going to talk about this. Okay. First, and this is all of what I'm about to say is an edict, you guys. I just, like, there's not too, I like to point out an edict when it's me asserting a universal truth, right? That's what an edict is to me on these shows, is when I say something that's like, this is fucking unimpeachable. Edict. You can't argue this.
Word.
And that's not true of like most of the shit I say, right? Because it's, there's silliness involved here. And as I discovered once again in talking to you this week, not everyone is a middle-aged white guy. Okay. But we've discovered that there was and this is not the point of what I'm going to say, but there's a fundamental flaw in the household you were raised in, and we might have to get into it at some point. But I think this Pepsi thing is indicative, because here's the edict. Okay. Top level, all soft drinks are gross. Like, it's too much fucking sugar. It's processed garbage. You're just drinking poison. It's bad for you. Okay? That's the top level. Level number 2 is Coca-Cola products. Okay? Coke helps with my sinuses, you guys. It's like medicinal. It's weird. I don't understand it. When I've got like a head full of and I drink a regular Coke, clears my head up. Like, it doesn't get rid of the problem, but it makes it so I can think. It's amazing. Doesn't work with anything else. You can't do it with Sprite, root beer, Pepsi, doesn't matter. Okay? Coke. Below that is Pepsi, because Pepsi is nasty. It leaves like a film on your teeth. It's too sickly sweet. It's actively worse than Coke. Just like the Pepsi challenge in the 80s that I participated in, Coke wins that shit, you guys, because Pepsi's gross. Below that is like RC Cola and Big K, which are like the generic. RC is not quite generic, but Big K is like the generic. Yeah. Bought it like it's the Kroger brand almost. Okay. So if you're, I think, in a no soft drink household, that's probably the sanest environment. Probably. Below that, a Coke house. If you're not a, but Coca-Cola house. Yeah. Speaking of the movie, if you're in a Coca-Cola house, that's probably normal, right? I think if you're in a Pepsi house, you're in a weird through the looking glass situation where you're trying to convince yourself that something subpar is normal. And I think that might explain the whole conversation we had earlier this week with the thing you didn't think was real. And Cheesemeisters, we're not going to get into that today.
It's embarrassing.
No, it's not embarrassing. We'll talk about it later. I have lots of thoughts, and most of them are about me. Shocking.
Okay.
No, it's just that, like, go ahead.
I say embarrassing because it became a party quirk in high school and maybe even college for people to realize things I didn't know. And so this is why I have a paranoia about seeming stupid.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe we do have to get into it. It's going to take us a minute to get the Easy Rider here.
I need to be okay with, look, I don't know everything. You don't know everything. And
that's 100% true.
And I don't even just mean you. I just mean the world.
Yes.
Like, this age of everyone acting like they're an expert on everything.
Uh-huh. So here's what happened. God, I can't believe we're doing this, but that's okay.
We're here.
Well, yeah. So Leslie texts me Thursday night, and she said, wait, this rooftop concert was real? And my reaction to that text was, the fuck? Like, my first reaction was to judge, right? But I checked it because I don't want to, like, I I don't want to make you feel bad for not knowing something because, and this is what I pointed out earlier, not everyone is a middle-aged white dude. We don't all have the same life experience, background information, things we were exposed to. Okay. So judging someone for not having the same life experience as me is a shitty thing to do. But also I have a normal human reaction to this was real. And so I was like, wow, okay. Like, maybe let's unpack it. What did you think this was? Like, if you didn't think it was real, like, did you think it was an acid flashback you were had? Like, what did you think this was? So I asked, what did you think it was before learning that the Beatles rooftop concert on top of the studios, on top of EMI Studios in London in January 1969 was a real thing? What did you think it was?
I had seen Across the Universe. Millennials, love letter to the Beatles.
Okay.
Let's make it all an acid trippy music video for millennials.
Okay.
I had seen that, and if you all have seen it, then you'll remember it ends with a rooftop concert between the Janis Joplin character parody and the Jimi Hendrix character parody. They're not parodies, but they're anyway.
Okay.
So they're having a rooftop concert singing All You Need Is Love, and then of course the romantic leads see each other across the way, and it's beautiful. And I thought, oh, that's so lovely. And then I'm watching this documentary and I see them do it and I went, oh my God, this was a reference.
Okay. Wow. I've never seen Across the Universe. And now I 100% don't want to, because that sounds like an abortion. That is... No, it just, to me, that sounds like we are taking everything we know about the 60s, smushing them into a ball and saying, movie.
Is that not what the episode The Time Has Come Today did?
Yes, which is why I think that episode is insane.
Well, like, I mean, that's fair. Across the Universe, it's lovely in some areas, but it's also like, it feels so much longer than this 90-minute movie that we watched.
Yeah, and this movie felt a little bit long. But the point of that interaction for me was that like I can't do that thing where like, you don't know about this. How do you not know about this? Let me teach you about this. Like, yeah, I don't want to do that. But also, like, this is amazing, the rooftop concert. And it's iconic. And it's a thing that I think, like, most people know. So, or at least know what it is. Like, know that it happened. Know that it was a real thing and it was the Beatles. They may not know all of the details. They may not know the context of it, and that it was like their last public performance ever, although no one knew it at the time. And that it came at the end of the Let It Be sessions, which were like, they just didn't go very well. It was a whole thing going on. And there was a movie made that shows the band disintegrating. And then there was a new cut of this movie made, which was the Get Back movie, which is so much more interesting and better and gives you all this. Like, I don't expect everyone to have like watched Get Back 3 times, you know? I think everybody probably should, though. It's so good. And can I pitch you on why it's so good?
Tell me.
Okay. You're watching the reality of the creative process. You're watching people who are geniuses, right? I mean, this is fucking the Beatles. Yeah. And you're watching them walk into a room that just has some instruments set up in it and having some ideas in their head and working them out into the thing you see at the end, which is the rooftop concert, which to me is history, happened before I was born. It's information that always existed. Like, I Get Back is iconic, that song, right? I Don't Let Me Down. I know all of these songs. These songs are songs that exist. This is the first time they're being played live. A month ago, these songs didn't exist. No one had thought of them.
Yeah.
And when you watch them create these things and then perform them, it feels like a revelation. It feels like a catharsis almost, because it's like, instead of seeing it before where you're like, oh, this is the end of the Beatles and that's kind of sad, what you're seeing is they went in there and they put in the work. And the Get Back is long, and there's stretches of it where kind of nothing happens, but that's the creative process. That's doing the work.
Yeah.
And you watch them do the work. And then you watch them get up there and play a song that didn't exist a month ago. And it's awesome. It's one of the 30 greatest songs that's ever been written. And, you know, whatever, I'm making that number up. But it's exciting to see it in that context. So I think everyone should watch Get Back, and I think everyone should probably watch it 2 or 3 times. But, and I guess that's a decent enough transition because that took place in 1969. And that's when this movie is set. And that's when this movie was made. And like, I had seen this movie once before. We're 16 minutes in. Love it. And I saw it probably when I was in high school, maybe college, because I had heard it was a classic, right?
Okay.
Like, everybody knows Born to Be Wild, right? Like, that's a song. I said that. Sorry, everyone who's not a middle-aged white guy. You knew Born to Be Wild?
I did know
That's a
that
song?
Again, I feel like this is just another time where, like, somehow the Beatles are included in this, even though, like, I grew up with my dad listening and exposing me to them, but, like, not in a way that you got exposed to it. And it's just, somehow these things wind up part of gendered upbringing. I don't know how, but I think if anything, and granted, I mean, I kind of leaned into that too. I've said on here, like, if it didn't have a female lead, I wasn't interested.
Right.
Go me. And yet, I'm also limiting myself. And
Right.
I was also limited in not being offered, like, hey, this is a classic. It's 2 men on a bike the whole time. Or like, hey, Bruce... I'm very scared to say this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Is it Bruce Springsteen singing Born to Be Wild?
It is not. No, it is
Oh my God,
Steppenwolf.
fuck. See, well...
No, Steppenwolf.
embarrassment, It's fine. It's Steppenwolf. But, wow.
That's okay. Yeah, it's fine. There are things we don't know.
There are things we don't know. And I know it's the age of the internet, but I don't want to look up every single thing. And also, you're not going to remember every single thing you look up.
Right. But the reason people know Born to Be Wild is because of this movie.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's the song in the opening credits, the two of them going down the highway on their choppers. And so that's kind of what I knew about this movie. I don't think I knew what it was about. I definitely didn't know that people died at the end, like you did. I just knew, like, this is like a classic of the 60s, guys on motorcycles. It's kind of what I knew.
Yeah.
And I don't remember liking it. Right? Like, I watched it and I think it left me cold. I don't remember any specifics, although I do. We watched 2 movies that night. We watched that, and I'm pretty sure we watched In the Name of the Father. Have you seen that? Daniel Day-Lewis?
No, I have not. Never even heard
Yeah.
of it.
It's from, like, I feel like 1993-ish. Loved that. I haven't seen it since. Feel like it was dark. Don't remember. But I really, it was an interesting evening. Okay. I liked that movie. I liked In the Name of the Father quite a bit. This left me cold, and I feel like it left all of us cold. I remember at least one person I watched this movie with, and I'll have to ask it. Because I watched this, Brian Fisher was there, and I don't remember if he liked it or not. But I haven't thought about this movie really since then, because it just was like, okay, well, this is a movie I saw and people like it and whatever. I understand why 20-year-old me didn't like this movie.
Yeah.
And it's because it's real slow. It meanders quite a bit. There's not a whole lot of plot to it. And
there's not a lot of talking.
There's not a lot of talking, and I'm pretty sure I just didn't understand it.
Sure.
You know? I watched it. I watched it yesterday, and I watched most of it again this morning.
Oh wow,
Um,
good for you.
yeah, because I wanted to rewatch the beginning to kind of remember what happens at the very beginning of the movie. Because there are things that like stick in my head about like like I remember they went to a commune. What happens in this Cheesemeisters is that these two dudes um, buy some drugs, sell some drugs, buy some motorcycles, and decide to drive to Mardi Gras across the southwest of the United States. 1969, they're just two hippies, basically. Peter Fonda and Dennis Hopper are in search of freedom. They just want to be free. Peter Fonda throws his watch away at the beginning of this movie, like
Yeah.
doesn't want to have anything to do with time, or he's just there. He just wants to be. And they encounter the limits of the pursuit of freedom. And it ends up in their death. That's what happens in this movie. So I remembered like the commune, and I remember the jail cell with meeting Jack Nicholson's character, and I remember the acid trip. Those, there's like things, and at the end of the movie, I'm like, thematically, I totally fucking get what's going on in this movie, but I didn't remember the beginning. It's like, why did they even start doing this? So I went back and rewatched most of it this morning, and I don't know if I like this movie, but I know it's sitting with me. And that's always a good sign.
I feel like I liked it,
Uh-huh.
even though I felt very sad at the end. Like the ending hurt. I think I
Okay.
you that.
You
Like
did, yeah.
it really hurt. Um,
And when you texted me that, I did not remember how this movie ended, so I was kind of interesting to see what that was about. So anyway, go ahead.
but I like this movie. It's just I'm laughing at myself because I remember I read On the Road years ago,
That's
and
something else I don't like. Oh.
well, and I didn't care for it. I really
Uh-huh.
didn't care for it. And then I think on my most recent drive back across the country, I went, "That's interesting. I don't like it. I basically lived it." Um, that's not true. It's different. Like, let's not assume that just because you've been driving across the country. Um, fun fact: if I don't like something, it's probably because it's secretly really about me. So everyone take that little morsel of my brain, have at it.
Understood.
But I did like this. I like stories of friendship. I like
Mm-hmm.
getting to see things about hippies that aren't. I feel like this doesn't do a typical thing with hippies. Like, yes, it shows them on drugs and everything. Yes, it shows them, exploring the boundaries of like relationships, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. But it also shows that they're not all the same in this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they come across Luke and they go to his commune, and Wyatt, or no, I think it's Billy who wants to leave. Billy's not digging. Like
Yeah.
this is not
He
his
wants to
crowd.
get moving. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to get moving. And Wyatt's just like, okay. And I feel like even Billy and Wyatt are very different in their
Mm-hmm.
approaches to life, but Wyatt's just go along to get along.
Yeah.
And like Jack Nicholson's character, not a hippie, and
No.
yet immediately gets associated with them, but also he is a liberal mind because he says he is a lawyer and has worked on ACLU cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So again, all of the I think why I like this film is that it is a more diverse look at hippie culture than anything else I've ever seen before.
It's
And
interesting that you say that,
I hate it.
because I just heard there's a Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie is coming out with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's something about one battle after another or something like that. I can't remember the exact title of it, but I'm super interested in seeing it, and that's not always true for me of PTA stuff.
Yeah.
But I was listening to a review of it, and one of the things that they said was about how like this character, the Leo character, possibly is a like a former counterculture figure. Like he was like a modern day outside the system kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about how most stories about people who are outside the system are told by people inside the system. So when you are like the hippie things I experienced in movies and music and TV and stuff, less music, but movies and TV are representations of the hippies told by the squares.
Yeah.
Right? Which is true of the, it's true in a lot of ways of the Time Has Come Today episode. Like, I don't think that the people who wrote that episode consider themselves to be the establishment. I think they fully recognize themselves in the hippie culture. And which I think you can see by the politics of 90210 in those first 3 seasons and all the issues we try to tackle and stuff like that, even though we tackle them in a ham-fisted way most of the time.
Yeah, in bad ways.
Yeah, but they're going to do the best they can. As discussed, go back and listen to the first 3 seasons of the Peach Pod, you guys, because there's some shit going on. Yep. There's a lot of they tried. This movie is not a picture of the hippies told by the squares. It's a picture of the hippies told by the hippies, which is why it feels different to you, I think.
Yes.
You know, why it has a very different perspective on what that, it's not a lot of flower children and this kind of, you know, it's 2 guys who do a lot of drugs, you know, like they're smoking pot all the time. The first scene in the movie, they try cocaine, like to just test it out because you know that they're good. Like they know what cocaine is, you guys. This is not the first time they've tried it. And then there's a big, I don't know, 15, 20-minute acid scene at the end of the movie. So these are guys on drugs. They're hippies, right? But they experience America in various different ways as they travel across it. And the movie is about freedom. It's about the search for freedom. It's about what freedom looks like. And it looks different in everywhere they stop. Like, he, like, again, at the beginning, they get on these they buy these motorcycles after doing this drug deal where they make so much money that they can just check out. They can get off the grid. They can get out of the system. They can do what they want. And what they want is to drive these choppers across the country to Mardi Gras. They don't really say why. That's what they want. But that's what they want. Yeah. So that's what they're going to do. I've never been to Mardi Gras. So that's what they're doing. And I don't know if you noticed this, because it struck me. They never say where they are.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
Because I found myself trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I know all the states that well. I don't. But I was trying. I was trying to really listen and pick up clues or guess.
There's not much, though.
There's not much. And maybe that's part of the point. You know, you throw away your watch, throw away your map. You just go and you enjoy the sights because it really is beautiful. Like I tell everyone who can, drive across this country. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I have not done that. But I do think that's a lot of the point of them not telling you where they are. Is like they give you indicators, like if you know what the American Southwest looks like and if you know where this rock formation is, then you know where they are. Because they show you a lot of that stuff. If you know where these mountains are, then you know where they are. But they don't, until they get to New Orleans, you don't know where they are.
No.
Well, you know they're in Louisiana when they stop in the diner where the cops are, because, and the only reason you know it is because the guy in the yellow hat says, "I don't think they're going to make it to the next parish." And Louisiana has parishes instead of counties, which is not true of, it's true of Louisiana and maybe one other state, but I'm not sure which one. But Texas has counties. Yeah. So in Louisiana, when you're there, it's not New Orleans County, it's New Orleans Parish. So that's where you know where they are.
I took a lot of indication how much closer they were getting by how much greener it became, because they were very much in the desert.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It also felt like they were on the border to start.
They were in Mexico, I think, to start.
Okay.
I think. But again, they don't say. Everyone's speaking Spanish and they don't subtitle it. So I feel like you're in Mexico.
Yeah. So,
you know,
I think there was a bit of a portion where they're in foreign territory, and then it's just desert. And then it starts to get a little more green and back and forth as it does in this country. Mm-hmm. There are many states where it just, it's green and then it's not. Or it's flat and then it's not.
Yeah.
But then once it was like full on green, I was like, okay, I think we're there.
Yeah, no, that I didn't track that, but that makes sense, because the first place they end up stopping, the first place they stop as it is at this guy's like ranch, right? Like they just need to fix their bike tire, and he's like, sure, go fix your fucking bike tire. What do I care? I get tools in the garage, and he's trying to shoe a horse, and there's a really cool shot of him shoeing the horse while they're fixing the bike tire in the background, like they're both doing the same thing.
Yeah.
They're both fixing their vehicle and the wheels of their vehicle. And then the guy invites him to dinner and they sit down and he's got like 20 kids because his wife's a Catholic, and which I thought was hilarious.
Me up.
And then they cut to her and she's just like, it's like, that's right. But the guy offers them hospitality and a meal and then they take off, and then they pick up a hitchhiker on the road, this stranger, and they ride with him a ways. I think the first place they stop is actually at a motel to get a room, and they can't get one.
Yeah, the sign says vacancy. And the owner sees them, goes back inside, and then you just see the sign flip to...
Oh, I totally missed that. Okay. And then they drive off.
Because it was blinking back and forth between vacancy, no, and then finally it just says no. It was really cool. This movie does so many great things creatively.
Yeah, visually.
I will eventually talk about how I hate some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but I can still appreciate the artistry and the choices.
Yeah, he does a lot with the visuals and the editing, the cutting between scenes.
That was cool.
Yeah, like they do this thing, Cheesemeisters, where like as a scene kind of ends, the visuals on the screen will be like flashing between this and a different thing, and then they settle into the different thing, and the different thing is like the next scene, and sometimes it's like light coming through trees, like it's nighttime and then it's like, ooh, light coming through trees, and now it's daytime and they're on the road again, or it's trestles and bridge work and now they're in a different place, and it's unsettling, but it's really cool. And there's this one shot where they've got the hitchhiker, and it's the sun is on the other side of this ridge of rocks, and you can't see it because it's dipped below the horizon line, but there's like the sort of this orange color in the sky, but everything in the foreground is in shadow. It's all in silhouette. So you watch the three of them climb this rock to look out over the vista.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then it's like next day. Like it totally shoves you out of that stuff.
Well, they do this really long pan around too from that moment because it's clear the sun is clearly setting, and
Mhm.
then it just keeps panning around at the landscape and it gets darker and darker. And I don't know, that shot really struck me as
Mhm.
impressive for
Yeah.
that time.
Well,
Maybe,
it's
honestly, even for now, I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm like, do you just set up a camera and keep pan and having someone pan it around, or can you set it up to spin on its own? I but then how do you? I don't know. I don't know how it was done, and I found it really fascinating.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Um, and they do stuff like that. Like then this guy takes them to where he lives, which is like a hippie commune. And there's the end of that scene is remember they're all sitting inside and the
yeah.
camera starts on the one guy with the beard
Oh
and
my
it
god,
just
it was the longest shot.
and the camera goes all the way around in a circle. Actually, I think it goes this way. Back to the guy at the beginning and he like says the prayer over their meal and that's like the end of the thing. And there's a lot of prayer in this, by the way. Like
Yeah.
there's a prayer with the Catholic guy. There's like a whole scene set later to Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Kyrie eleison. Like
Really?
that's it's
Yeah.
all prayer. You know, they say Christe as well. Um,
Oh,
it's both. It's Lord be with Christ be with you, Lord be with you. That kind of or
okay.
whatever it means. It's Lord Christ Lord, whatever. Anyway, Latin. Uh, but like they do a lot of stuff where they let the camera drift but not without purpose. Like he's showing you something because this movie is about this journey and and how long this journey is because it feels like it's fucking forever. Like this movie is 95 minutes long and it feels sometimes like 3 hours. It's real slowly paced.
Yeah.
um but like they could have settled in at this commune because like you said Wyatt is digging it. Like he's feeling like this is a great setup.
Yeah.
Billy looks around and goes, this isn't going to work. They're trying to plant a harvest in the desert. It doesn't get any rain here. This is dumb. Like he's a total like space cadet, Billy. But he also like is grounded enough in this reality to understand that this isn't going to work. But everyone here is they seem happy,
Yeah.
right? Like this environment, this thing that Wyatt is, he's like, this could be the place. This could be like, this feels right to me. I'd like this. And he says to the first guy, you got a real nice setup here.
Yeah.
Like you can do what you want. You're living off of your own food. You're growing your own food. You're living off the land. You're not beholden to anyone else's time. This is so appealing to him. And then the hitchhiker, the stranger they pick up, is also like Billy wants to know where he's from. And
Hmm.
he's like, I'm from a city. Doesn't matter. All cities are the same. That's why I'm here.
I love that line.
Yeah. And it's like it's his ethos, and that speaks to Wyatt greatly.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like Billy found constraints in in that kind of living situation. I think it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't free enough for him. I don't even think
Mm.
it was so much about the reality of you're not going to grow shit here. It was, I don't want to be tied down to this place or anyone. I want to be free to go. Like,
That's
freedom is
true.
different for everyone.
That's true. And Billy does want to move. He wants to be going. I mean, he wants to get to Mardi Gras. They want to go there, whatever whatever there is. You
I
know.
think he also wants to be in charge. And that's why he and Wyatt work so well together because Wyatt's just like, all right,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Um. But they get to the end of that scene where they say the prayer over their meal, and the guy, the stranger on the highway, gives them Chekhov's acid. Like, here, try to take this at the right time in the right place. And he's like, bet, put it in my pocket. Like, that shit's coming back later. And then he does that crazy cut thing, and they are riding their motorcycles through a parade in the middle of a town. And they are immediately arrested for parading without a permit.
Boo.
Yeah.
Stupid.
So like the stark contrast between this freedom and this lack of freedom is he does so much with the cutting.
Yeah.
And the edit of this movie. And in this jail cell, they meet hungover Jack Nicholson playing George Hansen, or basically like this town's Otis, except for he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, and apparently his dad runs the town or something, and he kind of bribes the cops not to mention anything to his old man. And they're like, "Oh, we wouldn't tell him, George. Would we? No, it's fine." And George is a lawyer. He gets them out of jail, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to Mardi Gras," and he's like, "Gonzo." He's like, I was going to go to Bombay, India to become a movie star, but I'll go where you guys are going now. Like, it's the Muppet movie. They're just picking people up along the way. I wonder if the Muppet movie is about Easy Rider. That'd be interesting to look at.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I might have to do that. I mean, they do ride bicycles. And so, but like, they immediately lose that freedom. They're in jail, right? And they take him with them because he's got a helmet. It's ridiculous, like little kid's football helmet with a chin strap. Total side digression here. We talk about defining roles later, obviously, but when you think of Jack Nicholson, what do you think of? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Probably the Joker.
Okay. Fair. Totally fair.
Honestly, it's hard to tell because that guy, I just know him from his shit-eating grin.
Sure.
And I don't use that phrase a lot because I'm like, that sounds nasty, but I'm like, no, that is the picture they show under that definition.
I tell you what they should have shown was Dennis Hopper getting shit thrown at him in the commune.
Oh my
Plop
God.
right in the chest. It's so gross. Anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
I'd forgotten about that till you said shit-eating grin.
Yeah, he's another one of those that I'm like, I just know you're a big star, and I'm sure I've seen you in some stuff, but wow, this is really embarrassing because I love this book. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Yeah, that's
the role I love him in.
Okay, so in your head, your first image of Jack Nicholson is the smile, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
The Joker, and a younger role, long hair in the insane asylum, Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. To me, it's probably either The Shining or Lieutenant Colonel Nathan Jessup from A Few Good Men.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Again, different. This one's later than the Joker. This one is slightly later, right around the same time as Cuckoo's Nest. My larger point is that neither of us think of Jack Nicholson like this.
No.
Super young, clean cut, a little bit wacky. I mean, he's a little bit wacky in a lot of stuff, like the neat. Like,
oh my God, the way he was drinking, I was like, you're not a drinker if you're reacting that strongly.
I don't know. It's a very specific choice he makes. So there's an oddness to him in this. But he's the most us character. Uh-huh. Like he's like the middle ground between the squares and the hippies. And
that's really interesting then what happened.
Yeah. Totally. Because he comes with them and they head on out, and he tries weed for the first time. And you know, Billy sees a UFO or something, and George is like, "Oh yeah, no, that's a UFO. There's a lot of them. I just saw 40 of them in New Mexico, or in Mexico, like 2 weeks ago with a buddy of mine. They've been here since 1946. Like he's a total alien conspiracy theorist. He's like, Roswell. Probably he doesn't say Roswell, but that's what he means by 1946. This is all real shit. They've been living among us for all of this time. They come from an advanced society where the technology has made them free, which, boy, that would be cool. Where they no longer have leaders, where everyone is free to be who they are. And I was like, well, if that was true, why haven't they told us? Like, why haven't they? And he's like, because it would destabilize our systems.
Yep.
And so they've just infiltrated. They're part of all communities now, and they're trying to show us these things. And not for nothing, but that kind of feels like he's talking about the hippies, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's too destabilizing to our system, this level of freedom. Like, that's what's going on in this movie. And so, like, that's why George to me is so interesting, because he comes in and he lays the thesis statement on us. Yeah. It's the UFO speech, and then they go to another small town and they try to get some food in Louisiana, and they leave because it's very clear they're about to get murdered. Like, yep. They leave, and they get out of town and they park, and that's when he has the other conversation with Billy about the whole big quote I had at the beginning about, like, talking about being free and being free are two totally different things. And when you start showing people that they're not really free, they get real busy killing and maiming to prove that they are.
Yeah.
And they go to sleep, and those guys show up and beat him to death in the middle of the night. And you're like, fuck, that's the limits of freedom. But not quite, because Billy and Wyatt leave. The next morning, they're like, let's take his stuff. We'll get it back to his mom, but we're moving on. Mm-hmm. And they move on to New Orleans, where they go to Chekhov's whorehouse, because George told them earlier that he got an address of a whorehouse. And so they go there, and they meet a couple of ladies, but they don't want to just have sex with them in the whorehouse. They want to go out to Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
So they do. And I don't know if you noticed it as much as I did, but they start using a handheld camera with different film in it.
I did notice that. I mean,
yeah.
I noticed it without being able to name it. And then when I was reading about the making of the film, it made sense to me. I'm like, oh, this is what they mean by 35 millimeter versus 60 millimeter.
Yeah. So did they, because I didn't read up about it, but I'm assuming what they did is just guerrilla style in the middle of Mardi Gras filmed this stuff.
All I know is that they changed cameras.
Okay. It felt like they were in the middle of actual Mardi Gras and not like a staged version of Mardi Gras.
Sure they were. I could look it up real quick, but I don't.
That's okay. But it just feels like real, like they're out in it. Yeah. And then they go to a cemetery. And in New Orleans, for people who haven't ever been to New Orleans, have you been to New Orleans?
I have, but only as a kid, and I want to go back as an adult.
I do too. I went in college, and I'd like to go back. But New Orleans is below sea level, so all of their cemeteries are above ground, because you can't bury people in the water. It just isn't going to work. So mausoleums and stuff. So they're in, just stunning visually. But this movie is stunning visually. Yeah. And then there's like a 20-minute acid sequence where they are trying to get free. That's what the acid experience in the 60s was about primarily. some of it was about doing drugs and just fucking doing drugs. But and I want to talk a little bit more about this later. But it was an attempt to use psychedelics, psilocybin, mushrooms, that kind of thing, to get free of the constraints of who we are in these bodies, right? The idea that there's and this, you know, there's a lot of prayer in this movie. There are people doing that through traditional means. You know, that's what prayer is about. It, you know, prayer is an attempt to connect to God or whatever's out there that's beyond us, the aliens. You know, it's whatever it is. And nature, in which this movie is all in. And they take this acid trip as an attempt to get free, and it shot crazy town. I mean, it feels unsettling. There's no dialogue in it that makes any kind of fucking sense. It's just gibberish. There's like, clearly there's some sex, kinda. You know, it's all over the place. But it feels like what I imagine an acid trip to feel like. Like, they shoot it so that you're like, oh, I fucking get what I'm looking at. And they experience that, and then they leave town and are murdered on the highway on their way.
Yep.
So this movie is 100% about the pursuit of freedom and the limits of that pursuit. And as such, it's kind of great, you know, but 20-year-old me doesn't get that.
No, of course not.
You know, which is why I didn't like it.
That's fair.
You know, and so I thought it was really interesting. This movie. Yeah. The other thing that it seemed, the note that I took that wasn't, I also wrote down Chekhov's whorehouse and Chekhov's LSD, is that I think I get why this movie became a classic, in that it is, it's the death of a dream.
No.
It is the hippies saying, this is as far as this will take us. Yeah. We're gonna, and this was released in 1969, you know, before Altamont, which we'll have to, you know, we've talked about that a little bit, that's the Rolling Stones concert where the Hells Angels were hired as security and killed somebody on camera.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
Yeah. Everybody cool out. Just cool out, everyone.
Jesus Christ.
And you just cool out.
Cool out.
The best. Love Mick. But they made this movie not knowing what the 70s was going to be. And the 70s is very much the death of this ideal. It is a snapback from this dream of freedom, this pursuit of getting out of the constrictures of society. And so I think when people in the 60s watched this, they felt like this speaks to what I'm experiencing and what I want, but also what I fear is about to happen.
Yeah.
And so it is a pinpoint in a moment in time that I think really reflects that moment in time, which is, I think, why, on top of the visuals and all of the other reasons that this movie just feels so great when you're watching it, it's beautiful, why it's a classic.
Yeah. No, I get it. I'm glad it's a classic.
I don't know. I ran on for quite a bit there.
You did, but it was all, I mean, I think this is one of those films it's worth going in depth about in its summary. And I mean, I like talking about it. There's plenty more to talk about with it. So
yeah. So you take me somewhere. Like, tell me something about this that is like was interesting to you. Is it like, I don't care if I talked about it already or not. Like, what landed? Like, because you liked this, you enjoyed this.
I liked the music.
Music is great.
Yes, it was slow at times, but again, I really liked the creative choices they made, especially because it felt like I mean, I could tell immediately when I saw the edits, the weird going back and forth abruptly. I went, drugs. That's drugs.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it was really funny when I was reading about it. And I don't know how much stock we want to put in Wikipedia and everything, but like in reading some of the analysis of the creation of this film, they were like, oh yes, the going back and forth representative of like being on psychedelics. And I went, I'm awesome. This is why I did well in advanced English and nowhere else.
Well, get in where you fit in. That's what I say.
But I would like to go into Adventures in Intimacy.
Let's do it.
Because so along with the acknowledgement for a need of intimacy coordinators on set, there's also a need now for sensitivity specialists or like mental health first aiders, people who are there to keep an eye out if they feel like people are starting to show signs of, mental distress. If someone has, had addiction in the past and is working on a film like this, not that they need to be monitored, but you want to keep an eye out for everyone involved in things like this from either, having a relapse or falling into addiction, because shocker to no one, I'm sure, they actually did drugs on this set.
Feels like it.
I don't want to be a square, but that's really dangerous. And look, it's hip to be a square.
Yeah, Huey Lewis is right.
Proof of it every day.
Eat it.
I'm hip to time, as Wyatt says. This is a film that would probably, I mean, all those jobs can do is make the art better, like, and I don't want to go too deep into like the behind the scenes of it all just yet. But there's a lot of intimacy in this, and I'm kind of surprised at how careful they were about not showing nudity. You get
little glimpses. Yeah.
Glimpses, but like in the scene when they're I called it the double date in the water.
Yeah.
When they're all swimming together, it's astonishing how little you see. I think the most you see is like, some side boob, a glimpse of a nipple, and then a glimpse of ass, all underwater. Again, very, very delicately done. I'm sure they were all actually naked and that there was no moleskin or consideration to. But again, no, I'm gonna stick with these assumptions that I feel are correct. I'm sure there were no robes offered like, hey, it's a nice hot day. Who wants to go skinny dipping?
Right.
This is a camera, if no one
understood.
But it's scenes like that go in well with the story of like of this pursuit of freedom. It's not about exploring the boundaries of sex like they love to show to almost a parodying degree sometimes when they talk about hippies. Like, people love thinking, I mean, they say the same shit about actors, I can't tell you how many times at my job as a standardized patient, they'll knock on the door when I'm changing and be like, oh, I know you're an actor. I'm still a person. Right. Like, I think you're conflating some jobs or one group of people as a monolith. And it's stupid.
There's also this thing that's related here where the other movie we talked about potentially watching was Woodstock, like the movie Woodstock. And I put that on, I think it was during COVID. And so I was sort of watching it with Liam a little bit. It's like, hey, check this out. And there's a lot of things in that movie. There's a lot of nudity in that movie. But it's a documentary. So it is like, it's just people who are like decided to walk around naked, or like here's this scene where everyone's bathing, and and just sort of this is what it was. And Liam's like, are they naked? And I'm like, they are, because they were just comfortable like that. That's just what they wanted to do. That's how they wanted to live, so that's what they did. And these in this movie, that they're portraying people who are like that, but it doesn't mean that they are like that. But that I'm guessing that they were probably treated like, is no big deal, don't be a square.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would have been, I mean, the kindest thing would have been, if you don't want to do it, then don't be in this.
Right.
The thing that probably happened, if such a thing occurred, was, why don't you want to do it? Why aren't you really acting? You're being square. Why are you letting the limits of society dictate what you can or can't do?
Right.
And like, I have to deal with this stuff on a personal level all the time, because it's not even just society. It's what evil people in the arts have made us feel. Well, it's an unconventional world. Why would you want to stick to any kind of convention? Because boundaries are healthy. Like, and you have to stick to what's true to you. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think how to say this, because stories like this are really important, but there is an abusive nature in the making of them sometimes.
Can be, for sure.
And it sounds like there was. And that's where it's not the IC's job to be a therapist, but that's where, again, you have a mental health first aider or a sensitivity specialist, someone to keep the director in check when they're suggesting to their lead actor, why don't you talk about that time your mom committed suicide when you're on an acid trip talking to a statue? Why don't you really do that? And that did happen.
Yeah.
Some other intimate things that I feel I would put an eye on, or I feel like are worth having an eye on, because they tell a story about the characters. They give us indicators. Two men being on motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I see kids, on bikes, like two on one bike a lot around here. And a lot of times I'll see them like have their hands behind their butt, like, so that they're not wrapping around the other person.
Oh, sure.
It's silly, but what you do you. And and I was thinking about in this, and I don't know how homophobic the 60s was the late 60s would be compared to like what the homophobia we see in the 90s. But, when they pick up Luke goes to sit on the back, and he very comfortably settles in, but he puts his hands on his lap, very relaxed. But I like that, because I felt like he's not making the assumption that this stranger is okay with his hands on him. But also, Luke may not want to put his hands on a stranger. Like he made the right choice there, in just, I've got my legs situated around you. I've got myself in a position to like hold myself here, but my hands are on my lap. I'm relaxed. I don't need to focus on keeping my hands as far away from another man's body as possible.
Right.
And I forgot to see where Jack Nicholson put his hands, but
a lot of times he's doing this.
Yeah, he's having a blast. He wants to have a lot.
Yeah.
Which shows how constrained he feels by his job or in his life. There's some avoiding touch in the commune when a lot with Hopper's character, like you can tell he's the more frisky of the men, and of course the women are naturally like, nope, you're gonna do something I don't like, and you are making assumptions. But then you get this back and forth between him and the brunette in the white dress. Like,
where she kind of kicks him in the butt.
Yeah.
And he's like,
kind of... there's some funny back and forth, and like they don't really go into it more, but I thought, like it's confusing, but it happens, it's a very truthful telling of an interaction between two different people. I think there was some background sexual activity happening, which,
I mean, the in the loft. when they're
There's a
getting
lot,
dressed. Yeah.
definitely.
Uh-huh.
I had a hard time telling this, but I feel like there was a guy receiving oral, or something was happening, or
Oh,
maybe he was
I
just
thought they were
sitting.
done.
They might have been done. It was really hard to tell. But again, it wasn't the focus of the story. All you have to do is show people rustling around and pulling clothes up to, and oh, someone's coming in. Oh, we can get back to it. Um, you know, all of these are great indicators of the kind of world they're living in.
Mhm.
We see similar things in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when we're at the Manson Ranch.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything else? I thought that I call it the double makeout scene on drugs.
The acid trip?
The acid trip,
Yeah.
um, that would be the more appropriate way to say it on set. During the acid trip, there's it's funny because one of the women, well, both women want it given to them. Like, I don't know, how do you do this? Here, let me show you. And puts it in their mouth. Got to be comfortable with someone else's hands going in your mouth.
Right.
Gross.
So we know where you are.
Big germaphobe. Yeah, we know where I am. But when then one of the women immediately goes into making out with Billy's character, as if the drugs have already hit. Now, granted, I don't know how acid works. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But there's so much back and forth, and I really liked that they didn't make sex the focus again of this acid trip, because I feel like that's the story we see a lot is, oh, hippies just want to be on drugs so they can have sex, and yes, for some, but not always. And also, like, I imagine when you get on these psychedelics, your mind goes to a million different places, and it's not always going to be to sex, because suddenly you're seeing things differently, or it's going to be more about touch and how things feel, like, or just whatever's coming up in your brain, because clearly some people are having a bad trip and don't even want to be touched, or they want to be in this confined space and naked. Like, again, some really cool shots that flicker on I think it was Tony Basil.
Tony
Basil. And the water is just perfectly placed on the camera. I don't even know if that was intended, but again, like, they show only so much. Like, they show everything without showing everything. It's really cool what they did. I just really, the editing was a big key part in the intimacy choreography of this movie.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool.
It was really cool. I enjoyed it. I really, again, for a film about freedom, I really expected to see more nipple. I'm okay with not. It was a choice. I have no idea why, because I have a strong feeling people were probably just naked on the set since they were just doing drugs.
I mean, the point of the movie and the point of the acid trip wasn't sex. It was freedom.
And freedom doesn't always mean taking off everything.
No, in whatever form that takes.
Like, I think it's incredible the people who feel free enough to be naked, but a lot of people use that power harmfully, whether or not they need to. I'll leave it at that.
No, that's true. I'm with you there. Any more intimacies?
No.
All right, then I guess let's get on our choppers and go to Needle Drop Forest. The music in this movie is a whole fucking character. I mean, it's almost on the nose, like some of the lyrical choices and song titles that they choose, but it is so correctly chosen to be evocative of the scene and the mood. The first song in the movie when they're doing the drug deal is a song called The Pusher. by
Yeah.
Steppenwolf. It's a song about a drug dealer. And then Born to Be Wild. Guess what? We're born to be wild, you guys. Like, this is what we were meant to do. Like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. And then they play a song by the Byrds called I Wasn't Born to Follow. I get it. We're on. We're with you. And then they play The Weight by the band. You know,
I like that one.
it's a great song. Then they play a song called If You Want to Be a Bird. Let's go flying. Let's look for freedom. Then there's a song called Don't Bogart Me about Bogarting that joint. And then there's Kyrie eleison, which is, again, a prayer. Flash, bam, pow. Got it. Then they end with the Ballad of Easy Rider and stuff, which is fine. But the song at the end, when it's like they're about to get killed, is Roger McGuinn's version of "It's All Right, Ma, I'm Only Bleeding," which is a Bob Dylan song. Which is a fantastic. Do you know that song? It's All Right, Ma.
And I'm mad now that wasn't on the playlist that I listened to.
Ooh, it is. It's one of those songs. It's just the lyrics trip over themselves out of his mouth.
Yeah.
And like I heard Bob Dylan like interviewed about that one time where when he was older, not like, when he wrote it, where he's like, I don't know where this shit comes from. Like, he's like, I can't. And here, and let me pull up lyrics for this, because it's worth getting them right because of how interesting they are. And I'm not going to do the whole thing. It's way too long. But
take a load off, man.
So like, listen to this. Darkness at the break of noon shadows even the silver spoon. The handmade blade, the child's balloon, eclipses both the sun and moon. To understand, you know too soon, there is no sense in trying. What the fuck? Who writes that? How do you come up with that? Right? Temptation's pages fly out the door. To follow, you find yourself at war. Watch waterfalls of pity roar. You feel to moan, but unlike before, you discover that you're just one person crying. Jesus. And it just goes on like that. Like, there are like 30 verses of this song.
I love and respect so much an artist who's willing to admit, I don't know.
Limited in sex they dare to push fake morals, insult and stare. While money doesn't talk, it swears. Obscenity, who really cares? Propaganda, all is phony. That song, that song's the ethos of the movie. It is. I love that song. It's just, if you like lyrics, It's All Right, Ma, I'm Only Bleeding is the fucking song.
All right.
And this movie uses music to deliver the message, and to take you on this journey, and does it expertly.
It says what the characters don't, or so that the characters don't need to. Or
don't know how to.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of talking in this.
Yeah. The last little thing I wrote down here in this is, you can always ride away, but you can never ride away. Like, they are constantly riding away. Like, whatever the situation was, they leave. Even George getting beaten to death in the middle of the night, they ride away.
Yeah.
The guys in the shop that are dangerous, you can ride away. You don't have to engage in that. You can ride away. But you can't ride away, because those guys come and get you.
Yeah.
If you try too hard to be too free in our society, you're going to get stopped.
Yep.
And that's this fucking movie. And it's a bleak message, but it doesn't feel wrong.
No, it doesn't.
Any of the songs in particular grab onto you?
I really like The Wait. Um, let me look back at the list. Uh, oh, we forgot If Six Was Nine. I mean, that's
Oh, I did. I skipped that one. You're right.
you know,
I don't know that song as well. To Jimmy, is that the Jimi Hendrix one?
it's Jimi Hendrix, so
Yeah.
it's one of those that this feels more like this is about the drug stuff happening in their system. Like
Mm.
I
Yeah.
I don't have an analysis on that song,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
To be honest, I think that's the first time I heard that song.
Oh,
Like,
I
I don't
heard it.
really, I don't know that Jimi Hendrix song. I know all the other ones that everybody knows, but
I don't remember if I found that on my own or if that was one of those that got played a lot on the classic rock station I would occasionally listen to on the way to school.
interesting. Because I feel like if the latter was true, I would have heard it a million times too. Because
Yeah,
I listen to that classic rock station too.
yeah.
So
I yeah, good times. What was that? 107 something? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Um, yeah, I don't know that any of the music stuck with me as much, but it gave me the messages I needed for this. I love music, and in the last week, I don't know, it's been a balm on my soul. This kind of music, and like even when we watched the episode that this corresponds to, I was like, man, I really dig this era of music. Um, and like watching the Let It Be documentary, I was just like, fuck, this is all so good. This is healing.
Mhm.
So this music is finding me at the right time and
Nice.
encouraging me to like listen to albums more,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm one of those that I'll listen to music, but I don't always hear it. And I think that's most people. I think you find the catchy thing or you find the thing that makes you like feel a way and you just know
Mm-hmm.
that you dig it, but you don't always know what it means or even and what it means to you. I don't like I had to
Mm-hmm.
stop myself the other day from reading about the meaning of a song and just be like, who cares what it means? What does it mean to you? Like, or
Yeah.
does it even need to have a meaning to enjoy it? And I think that's a lot of music from this era.
And to be honest, it's music all the time, but it's also like what it means to you right now.
Yeah.
Because you could hear the same song 100 times, and then you hear it at the right moment, and you're like, "Oh, I fucking get that."
Well, like some of the Ben Folds stuff that I sent you recently, I was because I listened to him a lot in college, and now I've been revisiting him, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
shit,
Mm-hmm.
this hits so much harder, and like even the stuff that is like about experiences that I have no relation to, but like that doesn't mean you can't connect with the thing.
Yeah, and it really just is like where you are in that moment, and that's what music is. Like I talk all the time about how this is a time machine, but so is music, man. It just takes you wherever, and sometimes you can hear a song and it takes you right back to where that song mattered to you. You know,
Yeah.
but now, or you can hear a song right now that you've heard a million times and like I never even considered that song, and now that song feels like the fucking truth.
Yep.
And it's amazing. And I think this movie does a really, really good job with that. Using it to settle that tone. All right, what else time? Is this anyone's defining role?
Peter Fonda.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. I do not know this man from anything else.
Jane's dad.
That's her dad?
Is it her dad or her brother? No, it's her brother.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
Henry Fonda's the dad.
Yeah, I to quote Kiki Palmer, I don't know who this man is.
Yep, Peter Fonda. That's who he is.
It's not. I mean, I guess it could be Dennis Hopper's, but it's certainly not for me. That's
3, 2, 1. Let her fly. In and out. Yeah, it's foul. Yeah.
My dad, we gotta run the picket fence.
That's right. Don't get caught watching the paint dry. Mm-hmm. The movie's great. Yeah, it doesn't. This isn't. It's almost Dennis Hopper's. I agree. It's certainly where he like jumped on the stage in a big way. Although it's not the first time we've seen him.
No,
If you recall, he was largely cut out of Rebel Without a Cause. Um,
Brandon Walsh.
yeah, largely because the director was like, "Fuck you." I think mostly.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, I think it was a political thing. Like he was cut out for like backstage bullshit reasons. Um,
Well, that's fitting considering what I read about him for this. I'm
you do what you learn. You know,
I'm thinking it makes sense why he got cast as the terrorist in Speed.
pop quiz, hot shot. Um, yeah, I don't know if it's anybody's defining role, but it's this movie like Born to Be Wild is like this movie's defining moment. You know what I mean? Like that's everyone knows that song, and like I put it on this morning. I was like, Laura, have you ever seen this? And she's like, nope. And I was like, do you know this song? Right? And she's like, uh huh. I'm
I
like, this
mean,
is why. That's why you know this
so
song.
much that they turned it into an ad.
Sure. Well, I mean, in the '90s, you were selling the '60s pretty big. So, and yeah, that's how that works. Um, two little things I want to bring up in this movie. For what else? And it's two cameo performances, and they're I don't know if you can call them cameos, but there are two performers in this that are much more famous for other things. One of them I texted you about. The dark haired girl at the end in the acid trip is Tony Basil, who everyone who knows Tony Basil's name, who is under the age of 75, knows her for, oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Hey, Mickey. Hey, Mickey. That's how I was introduced to her when I was like 7 years old. And then I was shocked to discover that she was a dancer. Like that's what she was before. She wasn't a pop singer. She was a dancer. And she appeared on the first episode of Saturday Night Live with a dance troupe. And a few more times during the first season of SNL with this dance troupe, including someone who was in her dance troupe who is not going to mean, God, there are so many people that this is going to mean something to. And then there's you and everyone younger than me. She's in this dance troupe with Fred Berry, who plays Rerun in What's Happening. And like the mental image of me for Rerun is the opening credits of that show where Fred Berry's a big dude, and he stops in the middle of the street and he's doing just a crazy Rerun dance, and I'm like, that's awesome. And then all of a sudden I'm watching Saturday Night Live and there's Tony Basil again, and I'm like, wait, is that fucking Rerun? And he does the same dance.
Nice.
Like I was like, oh, this is gorgeous. I love it. But more even before that, which I didn't know, she was in Easy Rider. I was shocked to see Tony Basil in this movie because, like, Mickey? No, she's the dancer on SNL. Wait, she was this too? Like, this lady has a spanning career, doing a lot, and I think she's still around and still dancing, and I think she's like in her 80s.
Shit.
Yeah, and still about this big around, like tiny thing.
Damn.
True. The other one, I'm wondering if you saw, noticed, or know who this person is. Did you catch another person in this movie where you're like, holy shit, that is XYZ? Okay, if you have to pause that long, the answer's no.
Okay.
The connection, the guy they sell the drugs to in the car with the yellow gloves and the yellow hat and the glasses. Did you know who that was?
No.
Do you know who Phil Spector is?
What? Isn't he a guy who murdered people?
That is one of the things he did, yes.
Not a great, so many people.
It doesn't narrow it down. I mean, a little bit, I suppose.
In a while. Isn't that the guy who murdered people?
He did. What he did before he murdered people, and ended up in courtroom wearing the craziest wigs anyone's ever seen, and then convicted of murder, was he was possibly the greatest music producer in rock and roll history.
That's right.
created the wall of sound, created an approach to music that was literally, there was so much sound he was creating to make the whole song that you would, and then he gets who he ended up marrying, Ronnie Spector, of the Ronettes. Like, he produced the Ronettes, those girl groups, and he also produced Let It Be, the album that ended up going, that was released, because they recorded the whole thing, and it was such a, they put all the tapes on the shelf because no one wanted to deal with it. Like, it was such a that they then hired Phil Spector to go in, take the music down, master it, and put it out. And that's why, like, The Long and Winding Road has that huge string section on it. And like, he just added all this soundscape stuff that Paul kind of hated. But then he also went on to produce some of John's early albums, Plastic Ono Band. I think he produced Imagine. He was a genius in the recording studio. Obviously a lunatic, and later a murderer. So Phil Spector no longer producing music. But I was like, fuck, Phil Spector's in this movie. Like,
the multitudes.
Right? So I just thought it was fascinating to me that Phil Spector shows up in this movie. And again, this is 1969. Right now, at the beginning of 1969 is when they are recording Let It Be.
Wow.
It's when that rooftop concert's in January of that year.
Good God. And they were, Jesus, no wonder they were all bundled up. I mean, I figured it was just because it was London and it was always cold.
Yeah, January, and they're on a roof. Yeah. So it, like, the fact that Phil Spector is in this in 1969 is perfect as a time capsule. Like, this guy's at the heart of all of the music of the time. Even if he's not involved, like, he is influential in everything that's out there. And I mean, he's one of those guys that's like, I mean, I'm not going to not listen to the songs that he produced because he murdered somebody later. I'm just going to, like, asterisk murderer.
Yeah.
But fuck me, some of these songs.
Jail.
Right. Yeah. And like, Google up pictures of him in the courtroom, because those wigs, man.
Oh, yay.
They are wild. Like, there's one that's like this big of an afro. Like, this real stringy, like...
Is he trying to win over the jury with insanity or something?
I don't put me inside that dude's head trying to figure out why he's doing anything. I don't fucking know. But it was a lot. So I'm not even sure if he's still alive. He might have died in jail, or he might just be sitting there rotten for being a murderer, because he is a murderer. But in this, he was just a drug dealer, so whatever. It's fine.
If only he just stayed that way.
Right. Yeah. Stay a music-making drug dealer, Phil Spector. Like a respectable person. Do you have anything else for what else?
Yeah, because I was thinking in this movie, I would time travel for drugs.
Like, just to be able to get the good shit?
I feel like it would be interesting to try something, not in its first form, but maybe when it was gaining popularity, just to try, because you know it's going to be different. I mean, wine and beer didn't used to have hardly any alcohol in it. It was,
right.
You know, they were like, people back then would be blitzed off of one glass now.
Right. The same, from what I hear, that's the same with weed. Like, it's so much stronger today than it used to be.
Yeah, and yet you get such funny representations of it in terms of like how wildly it's making them feel, and like I don't know. There's something too I realized as I was writing that out. I think trying it in another time sounds safer to me somehow, because now everything could be laced with fentanyl, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not rich enough to make sure that it's not going to be. So
yeah,
as usual, just waiting for shit to become legal.
That's right.
I can explore the boundaries of my brain.
That's right, because you want freedom, but with limits.
because I like safety.
Uh-huh.
It's a scary time. It was a really scary summer. So
Yeah,
yeah, your girl kind of needs wants to be in a life vest a
I
lot.
get it. I get it. You need a helmet,
I,
even if it has like a little chin strap on it. I get it.
I didn't
Um, what else?
oh, in more crazy shit that everyone else will think I should have known, but I didn't because I wasn't alive. I had no idea people hated hippies this much.
Wow. Yeah.
Because that's not how it's okay. In all of all of the TV shows that will have the teenagers go back in time, they don't ever talk about that. You know, the most the adults do is just cut your hair. This is you all are so annoying and childish. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
But
There were a
this
lot of people like Brandon
what do you mean?
in the
Oh,
in
that
the flashback
and
episode when he's
well,
Will or whatever. Yeah.
but even that isn't a great representation because it's just the army person who doesn't like the hippies.
Right.
I didn't realize they were treated like a marginalized group.
Oh,
That's
are
really
you not familiar with how crazy people thought the Beatles were when they were on Ed Sullivan and how long their hair was?
vaguely.
I mean, parents were legitimately like these long-haired freaks.
And it
And
only got crazier.
well, it did. And kind of the only thing that took the edge off that is that Paul's a genius, and one of the songs they played was "Till There Was You," which is from a musical. And so that's a song that moms can like.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, we're not that threatening. Here's my favorite song by my favorite artist, Sophie Tucker. You know,
If you all are freaked out by a different hairstyle, then you need to get a life.
and they were. They were. I mean, you saw those the guys in the diner were like, look at that long hair. I looks like they came from a gorilla orgy. What kind of are we going to put him in the women's cell? Put him in a cage and let people come buy tickets. I mean, no, they were seen as dangerous. Like when they walk in and those guys are like, oh, they're here to cause trouble.
Well, and like maybe this movie it's good that I've seen this movie because it's just it just makes me more afraid to be myself these days.
I mean,
when I cut my hair really short, I got nervous because I thought,
sure.
shit, this is I just got scared. I'm not going to go deeper than that, but I got very scared because of how people are looking at anyone doing anything differently now.
Mhm.
And granted that I understand that sentiment has not left because I was very much raised in a household afraid of oddity.
Mm.
And I mean, this movie is clearly like you can be weird, but you can only be so weird before you get killed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what this movie's about. 100%. Anything else?
No.
All right. Then what is this the EST of for you?
I feel like it's the saddest movie about hippie culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still really liked it. I mean, I like sad things.
Yeah. I don't know. I had real trouble putting an EST on this. Because it's so many things.
Yeah.
And it's not the longest 90-minute movie I've ever seen. That happened last week.
No. Yeah.
We've watched 3 90-minute movies in a row. Best in Show, Legally Blonde 2, and this. Man, talk about different tones. So I don't know. Maybe this is the best movie about motorcycle riding, I guess.
I was just gonna say this is the best cross country film. Maybe. I don't know.
Because the Muppet movie exists.
Oh yeah.
Doobie doop. There is, however, and I don't want to spoil anything for you. But there is an episode where Brandon and Dylan take a motorcycle trip. Swear to God.
Brandon couldn't handle it.
Swear to God. Next season, I think. Yeah, next season they go on a motorcycle trip.
That's cool.
Well, they think it is.
I mean, I don't personally. I've ridden on a motorcycle once. I think that was enough for me. Once again, a little too exposed. I like protection.
Mm-hmm.
Says the girl who wore a jacket in like 75-degree weather the other day, because it is my armor.
Sure. Well, I mean, look, there's only two types of motorcycle riders: those who have had a really bad accident and those who haven't had one yet. Because I know multiple, it's everybody. It's everyone I know who's owned a motorcycle has had a wreck that either killed them or broke bones and put them in the hospital. Yeah. No, I coached basketball with a guy who died on a motorcycle wreck. Yeah, it's fucked up. Young guy. I mean, he was probably 32. So yeah, no, it's dangerous out there riding a motorcycle. But I think that on that note, we have once again proven my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling.
Even Easy Rider.
Easy Rider. So join us here next week, Cheesemeisters, on Wednesday when we watch season 4, episode 26, Blind Spot. And we have not yet determined what movie we're going to watch.
Oh, sweet. I can't wait to try to figure out what marginalized group to watch a film about.
This is something. Yeah. So I'll watch it tonight and we'll talk. We'll see what shakes free in our brains that we're going to want to watch to go along with Blind Spot, which is an episode where some things happen, you guys. So be here for that. But until then, Cheesemeisters. Cheers.